Call the meeting of the Board of Health of March 6th to order. First item on the agenda under new business is acceptance of the February 7th meeting of the Lowell Board of Health. Do we have a motion to?
Motion to accept.
Second?
Second.
So, Madam Director, in the minutes, it says that Banner was going to send you pictures regarding rodent control in certain classrooms. Did they do that?
No, he did not, but by the time I asked for those pictures, he sent me the log for Lowell High, and he had gone back there to relook at them, and he said everything was much better because he had gone to a staff meeting and spoken to the staff, and Jimmy had said that everything had looked much better, so.
Okay, great.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the monthly development services report. Mr. Lee could not make it tonight, but we can review the report of the sanitary code. Are there any questions or comments about the report?
There's no schools on the list.
There's no schools on the list.
I'd like to note that there are no schools on the list for the first time in a
Please
long
note
time.
that there are
Thank
no
you.
schools on the list. So, Madam Director, could you ask Mr. Lee if this Ecumerica on Bridge Street would be put on a repeat inspection sooner than 6 months, because apparently they failed their last inspection also. So
Yes.
I'm guessing that usually they go on a shorter leash. I just had one question for Mr. Lee, and that relates to the frequency of the inspections. I know that there was a goal to try to have these, especially, larger restaurants, et cetera, done every 6 months. But if you look at the list in the packet, there seems to be some places that are 12, 13, 14 months. So I'm just wondering if they're having a staffing issue or what. I'm trying to find my... Yeah, but I highlighted all the ones that were... Oh, here it is. So if you look at, a convenience store, that's fine. But you look at sub shops and restaurants. One of the major ones was all the people at UMass Lowell, Foxhall, UMass Crossroads Cafe, Starbucks. Those were all 13 months. Olympia was 11 months. Food Shines was 15 months. Wendy's, which is kind of a busy place. Romeo and Juliet, 10 months. Wendy's on Roger Street, 11 months. So I'm just wondering if you could just ask him if they're generally 6 months every, report, but some of these, maybe he could just comment next time.
Yeah, let me see if he had a problem printing his report or if it was a problem with staffing or what the issue was. Yep,
It looks like, but it might not be. Okay.
thank you.
So we're all set on the monthly development services report. Moving on to the next item on the agenda is proposed modification to the Board of Health body art regulations. We'll review the proposed modifications as well as the proposed new recommendations around apprenticeship program for body art practitioners. Is there anyone that wishes to speak on the matter? Is there anything you wanted to say, or did you get a copy of this?
Yes.
Okay.
I got a copy of it. So
You need to state your name and address, please.
my name is Julia Mora from 11 Mill Street. I love beauty. So from what I read about it, I just saw SPCP included. This is one of the associations. We are currently in the other association, that's AAM, American Academy of Micropigmentation. So those two, I don't think we should be In both of them, I think one is enough because both of them has the same values, the same objective, and each of them costs almost $400 a year. So I don't think it's necessary to be in both of them. And we are currently in the AAM, and I didn't saw the AAM listed there, and it's also a valid American Association for Micropigmentation.
Where does it say that they have to belong to both?
So in the draft of the regulations, they belong to either of those. However, the SPSC does a certification exam on microblading, and it is cheaper than the other one. And it also renews every 2 years upon proof of 12 CEUs at no cost. So that is why I put their certification in. The other place was much more expensive to do their test, and it's good without any CEUs. There's no renewal date for it. Once you have it, you have it, but there's no continuing ed required for it.
But this isn't saying that they have to be members of both. This is
No,
saying
it's
or.
one or the other.
Right, it's saying one or the other.
Oh.
It's saying you don't have to be.
Because I just saw the name of the SPCP one, and we are currently in
Yeah.
an AAM one, and we already paid.
Yes,
So
it's one or the other.
My
okay.
understanding is you do not have to pay to be a member to take the certification test, which is what I read.
Which organization?
The SPSC.
Right, so,
Society of,
Okay, but
Yes.
you don't have to belong to both of them.
Okay, I appreciate
right,
that.
so to be clear, what you're suggesting is that it's one thing to be certified, but we also want to make sure that people are maintaining their level of expertise. And that is a routine recertification over time. And that's what this other one, this SPCP thing does?
It's the same thing with the AAM. The AAM is a more modern version of the SPCP one. This one is older, is more for people that used to do those old tattoo models. This one has the same things. They keep you with regular classes. They teach about sanitation. When you sign up, you have a bunch of classes that includes with this the signing up, and it's yearly. So yearly you have to take a test. Also, they keep the artists. They keep a hold of the artists, so they are kind of a regulation. If somebody do complaints about the artist to them about sanitation or about results of work, they go and they hold a whole investigation
Okay,
in the member.
that's fine, that's good.
So
We just want to
it's
know that
very
there's something,
valid too.
right, that's
Yeah.
fine. So it's one or the other, not both.
Okay.
So you're okay with that?
So second thing, I don't know if I understand well, but is this requiring us to ask for the state board to change our licenses for school? So we
Change your
can
license for what?
change the place license for a school license? Is that what this is saying? The 3.01?
3.01.
Julia, if it's easier, Caesar can translate for you, if it's easier for you to.
No, I think
I mean, you're doing a great job, you're doing a great job, but if you.
Oh, yeah.
Caesar
Oh,
The definition of an academy
right? Are you Portuguese? Brazil? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
We're trying to find that reference.
So 3.01 is the definition of the academy or the school.
Oh, okay, so I didn't understand that. I was thinking if we had to change our places license
No.
for, because the state board, they don't regulate that. This is up to each city, so it don't make sense asking them to change our license for academy. Yeah.
Right, but you're also not licensed by them to be teaching either.
Yes, I'm current in knowledge of that.
That would be through us.
Right.
Right. Okay. Keep going. You clearly read this well. So what else you got?
So that's what I saw, and I don't think I understand very well what are the modifications, because in the other paper, in the regulations, the only thing that was added was the word not in the paragraph 6.0. So that was what I asked Lisa to just change, where this says not permitted apprenticeship, to take the word not to permitted.
Was that from the Alston
Yes,
regulations?
yes.
Yeah, we don't have a 6.4. Am I missing something?
6.0.
Yeah. This,
That's not the full number.
It was in the
Body
Alston, the Boston regulations I sent to you
Right, we didn't copy.
yeah,
the
no,
Alston
that's just not 6.4.
for this one.
We
Okay,
changed them just a little bit.
okay.
I'm not saying that, honey.
Yeah, we changed them.
Oh, you changed
It wasn't the one I sent in the
Oh.
email.
Any other
No,
comments
that's
or
it.
corrections?
Basically, we are seeking is be able to give the apprenticeship, and in the apprenticeship, give the 200 hours as the normal for that everyone else is doing. For classes, 100 hours. We understand that the board don't want to include the areola restoration, and we are fine with that. But we are asking for the neck up. We can be able to do eyebrows and lips.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not so much that the board wasn't interested in allowing you to do the nipples. It's just that we had an information from your board of certification saying that according to them, it was outside of the scope. The executive director of the Board of Registration of Cosmetology and Barbering said that from what we were asking for, it sounds like it was outside of the scope of your practice.
So the state board of cosmetology, they don't regulate this. What I did when I look for in other cities is some cities are allowing the artists to do inside the body art license. Other cities are allowing only in tattoo artist
Right.
license. Counting with the fact that some cities think that anything from neck below is considered tattooing, and everything neck above is considered permanent makeup. So that's what I found out looking the cities that has artists giving this process.
Yeah, some of them allow tattoo artists to do it,
Yes, and some
but
allow
not
the
cosmetologists. Okay.
body art, but it has nothing to do with the state board.
So the recommendations in the guidelines in the draft suggest 2 years, 200 hours, 30 hours of observation, 50 procedures. But that's a little different than what the current cosmetologists are licensed under. So I think what we need to do is try to match those to what the current recommendations or requirements are a little different in our regs.
These are just versus the normal practitioner.
Right.
We wouldn't like to have 2 years because some people don't want to, most of people are not doing 2 years. It's 200 hours, and some people, they can go every day and complete these 2 years much faster than just
Yeah.
going once a week and be going for 2 years.
Right. I think we can substitute 2 years for 200 hours of
Yes, I
apprenticeship.
appreciate that.
Also, the requirement is,
So wait, just to make sure. So
2 years was of the teachers.
yeah. So just to be clear, it's 1 year and 100 hours. We want to change it to 2 years and 200 hours.
No, 1 year, 100 hours is for classes.
Yeah.
2 years or 200 hours for apprenticeship. Apprenticeship is 200 hours, classes is 100 hours. That's the recommendation of the association.
Okay. So I'm reading this. The length of this apprenticeship
Also,
length
which
of this-
Hold on a
is
second.
what?
Right, so that's, we want to make sure we're all talking the same language here. There's 100 hours, 1 year of class, and then there's 2 years, 200 hours of actual doing things.
Apprenticeship, yes.
So that's
Usually
what-
that's what people are doing. I don't
Right,
know
so
which
we-
city is that. But if the city decides to do different, I understand the city has the power to change and do different.
No, we're not going to do less than what you would say, that's for sure. So I think we just need to change number 2 to reflect 2 years and 200 hours.
You wanna increase it?
2 years or 200 hours?
No, not or, sorry. Actually,
1 year.
it's,
Inclusive of 100 hours of training and 100 hours of practical training, meaning doing
okay,
it.
so is that what you think? And 100 of class and 100, or is it 100 of class and 200?
Classes 100 hours.
Yeah.
That was what the boards, the associations are asking now. For classes, 100 hours, and people are doing them in 1 week or 2 weeks, depending on the amount of time in the classes. And for apprenticeship, it says 2 years or 200 hours, as long as the person complete the 200 hours. And it's a part of these hours has to be presential, and part of these hours can be done online. But a certain amount of the hours has to represent procedures done in the place.
She must be looking at number 4 here, on the second page.
Number 4? What second page?
It says if the body art apprentice applicant has not previously held, it's at the very top of the second page, held a body art practitioner's license in the city of Lowell or another city or town within the Commonwealth or in another state or equivalent requirements for a minimum of 2 years, then the applicant must apply. That's where I see the 2 years. But for the micro.
Is that what you're referring to?
I'm referring
No.
about the time, but we don't want to make people go for 2 years because no other city are doing 2 years. People are saying 200 hours, and then
This
they
isn't for
student-
the apprenticeship now. This is for,
No, we are talking, she and I were just talking about the actual apprenticeship.
Yes.
The actual apprenticeship is 100 hours of class and then 200 hours of actual working with
Apprenticeship.
somebody doing stuff, meaning either working on patients or whatever you want to call them,
Yeah.
clients. That's what she's talking
So
about.
right now, we only have 100 hours.
I understand that we need
So we wanna
we
have
want to
it-
reflect that.
100
And we-
hours for classes.
Yes.
What it says.
So 100 hours for classes when we are giving the class and teaching first time. If that student want to do apprenticeship so he can have a license in the city law, then 200 hours.
Right.
But don't say like 2 years because nobody's doing 2
Well,
years. That's a
no,
very
but-
long period.
So what I would say to you is,
200
no, it
hours.
should be 200 hours within 2 years. You can't have someone doing 20 hours
okay,
a year
yeah,
for 10 years,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's
change that.
literally 200 hours within first 2 years.
If you read number 2, which is on the last page with the black lines,
yeah.
number 2 says the length of this apprenticeship shall be a minimum
hold on.
of 1 year. On the very
Last page.
The very last page with the
Up
black
here.
lines,
No,
number 2.
no, back up.
Number,
Keep going.
number 2, so
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah, that's,
right here.
yeah,
It
it's
says
not,
a minimum of 1 year.
yeah.
So it is a 1 year, they have to do at least 1 year.
No,
2.
no 1 year hours because then
And
the
then it
person gonna
says-
have to be abided to be a year in the place and nobody.
Literally,
Yeah.
I would write number 2 and I would say the length of this apprenticeship shall be at maximum of 2 years, which should include 100 hours of training course and a minimum of 200 hours of practical
So you're
training.
gonna up the hours.
Yes.
up the length,
And
they
you
have
give
to-
them, it's a max of 2 years to get it done rather than a minimum of 1 year.
Right.
That's gonna be 300 hours.
That's what you just told me.
No, I said 100 hours for classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so we're
separate
keeping it.
from apprenticeship.
Yep.
If we're gonna teach a person how to do eyebrows,
I'm including
classes,
that.
100 hours.
We were including that in
Yeah.
this language in the apprenticeship. So if it's not included, that's
For
fine.
classes, 100 hours. For apprenticeships, 200 hours total.
Yeah, no, we're saying the same thing. We're saying the
Oh,
same
okay,
thing.
Okay.
So
It's just how you define apprenticeship.
Oh, okay, okay.
That's all. So they have to do the class before they apply to apprenticeship.
Yes, but
Okay.
they can have the class from another place and just
Right. So then the wording needs to be a training course of at minimum 100 hours has to be completed before the apprenticeship, and then the apprenticeship is 2 years to complete it, 200 hours of training.
Yes.
That's what it should say.
A maximum of 2 years.
Maximum of 2 years to complete it. Yeah.
They could do it in
so
3
this
months.
says- this was-
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just need to rewrite it, that's all. Like, we want to reflect what is current standard.
Right.
And you have to complete
Right, Carrie.
the issue is we're including the training course classwork in the apprenticeship. And what she's saying is you can't apply for the apprenticeship until you've done the classwork. So they have to come to the health department, demonstrate they've done 100 hours of classwork, and apply for an apprenticeship.
Yes,
And then the apprenticeship is 200 hours to be completed within a maximum of 2 years.
yes.
200 hours or 100 hours?
200.
Apprenticeship is 200 hours, classes is 100 hours. The other cities are doing classes over a course of 2 weeks, 100 hours divided in the course of 2 weeks. And apprenticeship, they are doing in a course of 2-3 months, depending on the attendance of the person, but not 2 years. 2 years
Right.
is too long, but I understand
tell
the
you,
person has
I'll tell
2
you, I
years
can give you
to go
exact
and
wording.
complete it.
We
Yeah.
go. We agree with you, and that's what we're going to do. We'll reflect that somehow in this. We will
So
change
you
that.
have number 2 shall now be a max of 2 years, inclusive of the above-mentioned 100-hour training
No.
course.
You
No.
don't think so, that's too confusing.
No, what it should say is, and I don't know where else you put it. Maybe what it should say is on the section beforehand, right? So on the following must be provided to apply for apprenticeship, then you would put as number somewhere in there you would put proof of 100 hours of class training in this.
I believe isn't that in the minimum requirements?
Yeah, where is it?
Where are you on? It's under applicants for apprenticeship and application. Certificate of successful completion passing.
Right, that's where that should say the 100 hours. So the applicant must also provide documentation of a training course of at least 100 hours, including training and the following, right?
Where are you looking at?
This is number 1 on that same thing, right?
The certificate.
Certification of successful completion of a training course. That's the
Of at
100
least 100
hours.
hours.
That's it right there.
Right, so this is referring to that class for 100 hours. So
That doesn't count.
Inclusive of this 100 hours.
That's
you
what it
have 1
says.
year to complete.
Right, that's not what we wanted to say. So what we want to say is the length of the apprenticeship shall be no more than 2
Maximum
years.
of 2 years.
Maximum of 2 years, to complete 200 hours of the
So
training.
take out inclusive of the above-mentioned
Yep,
training course.
yeah.
about
Yep,
100
take that out and say,
hours. So you're increasing the number of hours they want.
correct,
Okay.
correct. For a minimum of 200 hours of practical training.
Now, above it, we had added in, within this thing, that during that practical training, they had to observe 50 procedures and perform 25.
So that's.
Is that reasonable? No.
No, so just to be clear, theoretically, that doesn't belong in the prerequisite for the apprenticeship. That's what they should complete at the end of, by the end of it.
Yeah.
So that belongs under 2 somewhere. In order to have successful completion of apprenticeship, they have to have the 50 observed and 25.
So, I mean, what do you think is reasonable for the number of observed and
Performed.
performed?
Actually, you know what?
Hold on, Carrie.
So I think observant, I would say 15, and done, I would say 10 by then. Because for the for classes and certification, usually we have to show 5. But before you even touch the person, you have to submit your work in fake skin, and this work has to be approved and has to be a good work before you can start on people.
How about we do 25 observed and
15.
15 performed?
Okay.
Yeah, we're not necessarily comfortable with 10.
Okay. All right, Carrie.
But, and I would suggest, Carrie, or for whoever's listening, I would suggest we move I to under 2. That documentation belongs under 2.
Yep.
And actually H, I guess you could call H, or I don't even know if H needs to be there, but if anything, it belongs under 2. Those are things that should be occurring in the apprenticeship,
So I
right?
move under 2, and we're cutting
Yeah.
it to 25 and
15.
Yeah, and H as well.
Yeah, H and I should both just go under 2.
How does it, so it says hands-on practice of at least 3 complete procedures, but I thought we were saying 15.
Right, I would just
I
get
don't
rid of H.
understand why that's,
Well, those seem like requirements for the
Fix it.
practical.
you want H up to 15?
Or just take H
No,
out.
No,
Just take
H
out.
doesn't make,
Yeah.
it's,
Well, this is on living clients, at least 3 on living clients.
We're talking
Well,
about 15 on living.
yeah,
It is on
yeah.
15.
So
I
it's
understand.
repetitive. It's,
We're not making it easy for you, my friend, but
It's
again, we're
duplicative.
doing something new that we haven't done before, so we need to go slow.
We
Come
wanna-
back in a year and say lower it, right?
Do we want to keep touch-ups do not count as a procedure? That was in another town's regulations.
What was it? What was it?
Up the end of H. So I'm taking out the first sentence, hands-on practice of at least 3 complete procedures. You want out, correct?
right, because it,
So then touch-ups do not count as a procedure.
Yeah, that's why we're taking it out.
So we want to leave in and put that after the 15?
Should touch-ups
Yeah.
count?
Chaps should count as a procedure.
Are they doing the
But
actual?
The person do the same procedure as she did the first time. She's doing the second time, so she is revising
that
her
out.
work
So
and going through the
Right.
work a second time. So should count. As
Okay.
a procedure.
I think that's a reasonable. We're gonna do 15. That's a reasonable count.
the town I took it from was concerned that they were doing touch-ups on people that they didn't perform it on. So you would walk in and say, I just need my eyebrows touched up.
doesn't matter.
Wait, are you saying? Wait, are you?
Putting a
Are you saying they
stipulation that it be your
pretended they
own?
were doing it and they weren't, or they actually were,
No.
were injecting the dye?
So they want people to actually be doing it. So
Right.
a touch-up is,
A little bit less.
you're just filling it in a little
Right.
bit, from what I understand, so.
You're still practicing, so let's leave
so
that
take
out.
it out?
Yeah, because we're not doing 3 now. We're doing 15.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
Right,
So
right.
all right.
that'll make it easier to get you
A
15.
touch up, yes,
Right.
should be included because sometimes the person come for a touch up, but it's so fade, there's barely nothing there,
It's,
so it should count.
so it's a touch-up, but it's really.
As long as they're actually injecting the dye like they would, that's what matters
As long
to
as they're doing the same
us.
skill set.
Same
Yeah.
skill set.
Following an outline that's
Right.
already there.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Okay.
So there you go. So get rid of H
So
and
we're
move
moving
I underneath it.
Down to
Yep.
2,
Yeah.
and we're
We're taking
changing
out H.
2515 and
one-
maximum of 2 years.
Now, on the tattoo artists, we require them that even if they hit their 1,800 hours and it's less than 2 years, they still have to do a full 2 years to get the experience. Do we want to do the same here?
No,
No. I don't
So
think
if somebody completes it in 3 weeks, you're okay with them going out and doing it on people?
200 hours in 3 weeks. I want to see it. I know.
2 months. I mean.
Yes, 2 months.
Yeah,
Yes,
if
correct,
they,
correct.
yeah.
Okay,
They can do that. They can work in my
so
office.
no minimum. So you don't want a minimum of 6 months, maximum 2 years, just maximum of 2 years.
Right.
I mean, the
Because
reality-
other towns do a minimum, so I don't think it's,
Yeah.
you know, if they're doing the number of required procedures, I don't see why.
Just remember, we hold you responsible for how well they do when they leave you. Do you understand what I mean by that?
yes.
So they go out and they start causing problems in the neighborhood after you supposedly train them.
Train them.
It reflects poorly on you, and we will hold you responsible.
Yes, I lose my hair in the association as
Right.
well, so I'm aware.
So we impress upon you that these are the minimums. Some of your apprentices might take longer than the minimum.
Yes,
Right,
I
okay.
understand that.
All right. Okay.
Are there any more things under the?
And do we want to talk about the fees at all?
Is there any more about the requirements for you? Any other concerns about the requirements when we
No.
wrote them?
I think it includes everything. The person has to have the blood borne, the CPR, the immunizations for hepatitis, and the 100 hours class before the apprenticeship. So I think everything is covered. Yes.
So you're interested in starting in doing an apprenticeship. Do you have 2 years of experience?
Yes.
Oh, you
My
do?
first class was in 2015. So yes.
Okay.
I start like I'm old school, like I'm a dinosaur in this
Okay.
at this time. Yeah.
We wanted to make sure that you would meet those requirements.
And we said we're grandfathering in about that has to be in the city of Lowell, since we didn't allow it.
Well, we can have a conversation whether people think that's a requirement or not. Like if that's in it right now. You don't necessarily have to leave that in. We could take it out and just say 2 years of experience as opposed to 2 years in Lowell. So that's for conversation. I would grandfather in if we kept it, but the question is, do we even need it?
When you say experience, what do you mean by
Microblading.
But what do you want as proof as experience? Because classes, we have classes dating from when microblading started.
We're not worried about you.
2015.
Yeah, we're not worried about you. Remember, this is for the next person that comes in too.
Oh,
This is for everybody, not just you. And so the next person comes in and says, yeah, I've been working in California for 2 years. Do we accept that and allow them to start teaching here? right? So we're just trying, and how do we know?
I
And right,
understand
right.
that. My question is, what will be the requirement to prove experience? Like
Right.
my class, proving that I attend a class, that will be enough to prove experience?
They have some sort of, or they have a license from.
A logs?
They were not doing license at that time. They started doing license like in 2016,
Yeah, this is, so is there a special,
2017.
is there a special class you take to teach?
So right now in the United States, to teach, what they are asking is people to be a diamond trainer by the association. The association is making people trainers, not the cities.
Okay, so just to be clear, so there's a certificate you get to become a trainer.
It's not a certification.
Yeah.
It's you submit your work for the association.
Right.
They evaluate your work. They evaluate your experience, and they will tell if you are capable of being
A teacher.
a teacher or not. No, it's not the cities that are saying that. It's the association.
No, I understand, but what I want to know is, can we make that a requirement of being a teacher, that you have to show that you've done this, whatever it is, and do you have a like written proof that you've gotten that from them?
I don't know if the SPCP offers that. I think they offer, but I know the AAM offer that. You first start as a golden member, and then you submit your work and submit your experience, and they say, okay, you can be a trainer. We look at it into your work, we look at into experience, and you are good to train. They also
We should have
So
that.
again, this ties into the certification test that I told you about.
Right.
When you take it for the AAM, it's a one-time test. You don't have to do it again. You maintain that.
But it's not a
other one-
what she's talking about is not a certification
This is
test.
for
it's not a
training.
So
certification.
they have like a similar thing, and I looked into it when I was looking at this at both of them. The AAM does not require any additional CEUs. Once
To
you get it,
teach.
you keep it.
But what about to teach?
No,
This
it's
is about
So
teach.
according to their website, once
That
you
there's
get
nothing.
this,
You can teach.
You can.
You can
no.
teach.
So where the
So the-
SPSC
Go ahead.
So go-
has.
Wait a minute,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's not like that. You can submit your work and you do a very difficult exam that's 90 minutes, and they put a lot of situations and questions. And when you pass this exam that I just passed, I didn't do before because this was taking forever. I didn't want to spend the money. So I just did, and I passed as a gold member. Now that I am a gold member, I can submit my work, submit my experience, and by that, I go through a evaluation of the association, and they will say with that proof if I am able to teach or not.
So
It's not like that you get to the
So shouldn't we
association
make
in
that a
you.
right. So my question for you is, when you do that and you
Yeah.
become a diamond member, which just sounds like you're just paying more money. But anyway, they say you're a diamond member. Do you get something that says you are now a diamond
Yes,
member and able to
they
teach?
qualify you
So,
as a trainer.
so would it be unreasonable for this board in this
Yes,
town to say you
yes.
need that to be able to have
Yes.
apprentices, right? That's what we're
Yes.
getting at.
that
So
would be
additionally-
reasonable.
So additionally, when I was looking into it, the AAM was much more expensive, and you had to be a member. The SPSC, to do the certification test, you did not.
Right, but was it a certification to teach?
It was a color theory test. It's a certification. They have an aerial nipple colorization guidebook.
That's
that
not the
you-
same thing, though. We're talking about
We're
actually
talking about the
teaching.
test.
We're talking about teaching others to do it.
I'd have to look more.
So
into
my
it.
point to be, I don't care if either one or both have a test
They
that you pass to teach, then the requirement should be you pass one of those two tests.
We
Yeah.
should put that in here.
I think it's more reasonable to put something like the person that's want to teach has to hold a title as a teacher from one of the associations in
Okay.
the United States,
All right,
or
we'll do that.
AM or SPC.
Right.
If you like, I can send you the links to the
No,
website.
no, let's just
it's
do
okay.
this.
I mean, it doesn't matter because either way, the regulation as it states right now is that they can get accredited from either of them. So
They
Correct.
have to
we
hold-
can't,
They have to hold a membership in either.
exactly, but for them to be a teacher, we need to have literature that says that something from either one of them.
Both are
Not-
allowed for, that the training class is certified by one of these two. That's the training class. It
Okay,
would be both.
so it sounds like what we want to do is add to the guidelines that Can you just repeat that?
Yes, the person giving the apprenticeship should hold a title as a teacher gave from one of the both associations. That would be the SPCS or the AAM.
So you
Should
want,
be accredited as a teacher by one of both associations. I think it's pretty reasonable.
And I assume it's almost impossible to get that within less than 2 years of experience, right?
It's impossible
Right.
because for be a training, the AAM asks you for 5 years of
Perfect.
procedure and
Love it.
experience.
Okay.
Okay.
okay, so under the minimum required body art practitioner is the training practitioner, which starts on the bottom of page 2, the
Mhm.
second page.
Yep.
You want me to add a section that says they, I believe it's someplace in here.
Well, I would take out the
So-
requirement of being in the city for 2 years.
So, I mean, it already
In that
says it
case.
there, number 13 on the next page, say training practitioners in the field of microblading shall be certified by the AAM.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
it's already
Right.
in there.
Right, so I think if that's there, we understand the 5 years. I don't know that you need to be in Lowell for 2 years. Let's start
So
this whole
But
thing,
you're
right?
okay with the 5
Yeah.
years experience,
Yeah.
2 of them have to be in Lowell?
Yeah. No, I'm saying I don't know
No.
that 2 of them have to be
That's
in
what
Lowell.
it says there.
I understand that. That's what we're
why
talking
I'm
about.
asking you if you wanna change it.
Yes.
I would recommend changing it personally. Yeah.
Which
I don't know what you guys think.
Right at the bottom.
So we're gonna take out the city of Lowell part.
It says, said practitioners acting in the capacity of a trainer in the applicable field of body art must have 5 years of experience and have been a licensed practitioner in the city of Lowell for a minimum of 2 consecutive years directly preceding the apprenticeship with no documented violations. And
Yes.
How
meeting
about,
all
yeah, how about we
requirements.
just say in the state of Massachusetts?
But
Yeah.
then that way will exclude Letitia because I have
Okay.
a Boston license for 3 years, but she doesn't. She just got her license here. I don't think it's fair. This
Okay.
clause will.
Are you a Diamond member yet?
She is. Yeah, she is.
She is.
Yes. So I think instead of saying a period of 5 years or a period of 2 years, should say being certified by one of the associations as a teacher. I think that should be enough because both of those associations ask and they evaluate the
Yeah.
person that wants to.
We agree with you. It's okay.
Yeah.
We agree.
So,
Well, can I just ask one question? If someone works somewhere else and there is a violation against or a complaint against them, how is that tracked? Like, how would we know
Good
that
question.
if they're
Good
coming?
question.
Well, depends where the person gives the complaining. So the normal is the person gonna come to the board and do a complaint within the board. That's what I have saw in the past. Or the person goes see the association that the person belong to and complain with the association, and the association contact the board and hold the artist
Okay, so if
accountable.
someone's coming here and applying for application, bear with me, I'm not trying to be difficult. And they've had a violation somewhere else, like in New Hampshire, how are we going to know that about that person as they're applying for a license?
So for the tattoo artist right now, Kathleen, for a body art practitioner, we had a gentleman that was in Las Vegas, was licensed out in Las Vegas. So when he brought me his copies of his licenses, I called Las Vegas, confirmed that he held those. Of course, there's no way to say that he didn't just hold them and didn't do any work. I have no
Right.
way of knowing that.
But would you
He
know
just
if
was
you would know if you had any issues, right?
So,
How would you know about violations or complaints?
if they're willing to tell me when I ask, not everybody will tell because they don't want to
Like,
be.
you can look up my nursing license and see if there's any
Yeah,
violations.
there's nothing like that.
There is no database for that,
is
but
it
that's
fair
a
to
good
say a year?
idea. We
Maybe a
should
year.
have
Yeah, maybe we
something
should
like that.
compromise on a
That
year.
might be why they're saying they.
That
have
is
to
why.
hold
So
this
maybe we
year.
should compromise on a year then.
So I have to hold the license and
Right,
roll for
for a
1
year,
year?
so that-
Yeah, I think that's reasonable, and that's for protecting the citizens. If we had somebody who's lost their license in 5 states and moved here,
Yeah.
we wanted some protection before they start. Although
The
it's just teaching, it's not
associations
doing
wouldn't
it, so.
give a trainer
minimum of-
license for somebody that is not capable.
My problem is-
None of both of the associations would do that.
The difficulty for me will be if they're coming from Brazil or Mexico or someplace. I have no way to reach anybody down there to confirm
Correct.
licensure. So
Well, so that brings
they
up another
can't get a
issue.
copy of their licensure? don't think, like, I mean, I have to provide a copy of my license.
I have a gentleman that's in the apprenticeship program right now that was in New Hampshire that can't get, the shop owner won't sign off that he completed his 2 years apprenticeship, even though he has a copy of the license.
I'm not
But he
sure.
only has 1 year, he doesn't have 2.
This,
So, and the state doesn't.
Okay, so are we thinking that we want to make this a minimum of 1 year?
yeah,
I mean, I'd hate to do it, but I don't think we have any other way of knowing.
we gotta be safe. Agree.
But there is
Again, it's teaching,
nowhere a
not doing.
database. This is not like the statistician license that you have a database that is for the whole state. So there is no way to know it. I don't think where the 1 year is applicable here if the person is already recognized by the association as a person that is capable of teaching. The associations are very full. It's the persons in the chairs, as they have a doctor in the chair, they have nurses, they have people that are tattoo artists for a long time, they have people that have been doing eyebrows in a long time. So it's not something that was made up and we are paying $400
Right, no, the other part
a
is this,
year.
we're talking about teaching, not doing. The issue with what you're concerned about is the actual doing.
Right.
That's not. This is about teaching.
Yeah.
We could talk about whether anybody can come into Lowell
Well, the same.
with the certification, just say I'm ready to do things here, and what we can put parameters in place for that. But
That would
we
be-
can't.
yeah.
This is about teaching. So this is already
Well, the
like
teaching's in here.
The teaching's
No,
the same.
but
though.
when-
You're coming-
what
you
Kathleen's
provide to your
concern, it's
town,
not
and I
about
say, I'm
teaching,
gonna
it's
teach
about-
nursing to these people. I have to provide adequate documentation.
no, you do. It'd be terrible teaching, and they want their money back from you if
But
People will
suck.
tattoo-
that's where the associations get. I think when you narrow down the person being certified by the associations, I think that's the work done because the associations will not just certify anybody. I'm not certified by the associations right now to teach. I didn't apply yet for that. So it's not just like, okay, I want to teach here, you can go and teach. So when you put that, the person has to be certified by one of those 2 associations that the American started right now to be a trainer, that's already, the person already went through a funnel to get there. It's not just, I am here, here's the money, give me a teaching license. That's not how it works.
So now, Bill, I have a question.
Yes, no, I understand. I'm just explaining.
That's like a verification of that process.
This is a verification because the associations do the same as the city does. They ask for your CPR, they ask for all your trainings, they ask for your blonde board, they ask pictures of the works you have been doing as the years went through.
Circumstances can change and their performance can be affected by that.
Yes.
You want to know if someone has violations somewhere else.
Yeah, we can't know that, right?
But
Regardless.
there
of
is no
this.
way to know that. There is not
even
a
if
state
I'll go with
database
what the
for
board
that.
decides. I'm just bringing that as a point of just concern.
Most of the cities and towns did say 2 years. Even the regulations you gave us for Alston said 2 years.
2 years
For-
experience, not
No.
years.
Alston said 2 years to be in the town to be an apprentice.
apprentice.
The
teach.
Alston regulations said 2 years to teach.
Not being
Yeah,
apprentice.
sorry,
So
to-
2
yeah,
years
Yeah,
experience.
the Alston regulation said 2 years
experience.
to have an apprentice.
2 years
To-
in the city.
In the city to have an apprentice. To have an established
Facility, like
Facility.
a practice. I know
Yep.
what you're saying, right?
to have an established facility prior to becoming,
I
a teaching
understand 2 years
establishment. Yep.
experience,
yep,
okay.
yep,
I
they
see.
did.
Yeah.
And that's the way most of them that Carrie and I saw, they did say that.
Okay.
So I think that if the board wants to go with 1 year, it is reasonable.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. So
Okay.
So then moving to number 3, the body art establishment.
We're still
also-
on number
oh.
2. Okay.
So we're trying to debate whether we want to do non-1 year, 2 year. I think most of us are in agreement now. We want to do something. So the question is 1 or 2 years.
1 year.
I don't want to make it like a.
Let's just do a year. We can always.
undoable for people. Like,
Right.
I want to support the process. You guys have been so
Yeah.
diligent about helping. with
Well, how
that.
long is your practice open? You have a practice here now?
Yes.
How long you been open?
Since January when you guys let me have.
All
I
right.
think they were licensed in August of last.
Yes.
Right. So you're halfway. I would say 1 year to me is fine. That's enough to establish a practice. And if it looks like it's causing problems, we'll change it to 2.
That's fine.
Okay.
So then you have to move to number 3.
Okay, hold on. So
Where were we?
So is there agreement on the board that number 2 is going to be changed to a minimum of 1 year directly preceding the apprenticeship? Is that what we're
Where are
saying?
you, Joanne? I'm sorry, say again.
So
Yeah, 1 year, had 5 years of
the
bite
second
experience and
page
1
at the
year, yes.
bottom, we were talking about 5 years experience in a minimum of 1 year instead of
Yes.
directly preceding the apprenticeship.
Correct.
Okay,
Then
go
you have to
ahead.
go to 3, the next page, right
So-
below the ending of number 2.
So it'd be changed to 1 as well,
Do you
right?
want the establishments to only be around for 1 year, or do you want to keep them at 2? This is the facility itself.
When I just had the conversation, I was thinking the facility, not the person, so I'm good with 1
So-
personally, but
Like using Lowell as an example, not that so they've been open for a number of years. They may have a practitioner comes in and only does 1 year. So under the regs now, they would meet the requirements of having more than 2 years of licensure within the city, but their practitioner coming in that might be training would be allowed to have 1 year under how we just changed it.
Yeah.
So do you want a body art establishment to come in and only have to be open in the city for 1 year to be able to host apprenticeship programs?
Yeah. I think
Yes.
it's
I'm
reasonable.
okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
All right, anyone have any other comments or questions?
See the service zone plan?
So
Yeah.
This is a new service zone plan right here, right?
Carrie, I just had a question about number 5. Does Development Services check these monthly?
Yes.
Okay, so there is a monthly, but we haven't been getting
I
his.
do.
Oh, okay.
I only bring them before the board if there's a problem.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
So
It
I
might
just,
be interesting to see one of those to
it's
see.
just check everybody's passing.
We were getting them for a while.
Yeah,
used to get
yeah, we asked you to save paper and not do it, yeah.
But
Well, maybe a one-time thing.
I could send them on.
Okay.
I could put them in the next one. if you like.
Just one more thing before we finish. I just want to wrap it up and think I don't have to come back here in the next years.
We agree.
Hopefully. So we are getting the apprenticeship for 1 year. So when we have 1 year license, 1 year establishment open here in Lowell, we can apply to be trainers and to give training here in Lowell.
As long as you
As
pass your
long-
test.
As long as the association recognize us as trainers, one of the both associations, right? And I just want to make sure that we are fine to perform lips and teach lips as well as eyebrows, right?
No,
We haven't really addressed the lip part of it, but I don't have.
In another part that has to be addressed that I just remember as the part about removal of eyebrows. So we never discussed that, but we have to be able to do removals as well.
You mean
I just
plucking the-
remember
plucking
about
hair?
that. Sorry?
Plucking hair, pulling out?
No. For example, somebody comes to me and they have the eyebrows done somewhere and somebody did a botched work in the eyebrows. So I should be allowed to remove that work.
How do you do
In-
that?
How do you do that?
We use saline solutions. It's
Is this part of your standard training and?
yes,
normal
it's
stuff that you
part.
do?
It's part of the training. Yes. So if you do eyebrows, you should be able to correct the eyebrows. If somebody comes to you and they have a botched work,
Yeah.
you should be able to fix that. But we
Saline?
never.
Normal saline?
Flush it out?
It's not saline. I don't know the composition. They say saline is not saline solution, but saline base. But each company has their own products. So I currently work with Beauty Angels, is one of the best companies in America. I'm training by them, so I use their products. It's just we never address that, and I think it's important to address. If we are able to do eyebrows, we should be able to fix them. Like
Right.
somebody comes with a botched
Yeah.
work,
Not an
we
issue.
should be able
Not an
to
issue.
remove that.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
an issue.
So do we not talk about lips in here?
Well, do we,
At the last meeting, you guys said no to the lips. So now we're gonna say yes?
Oh, we haven't talked about it.
we're
We
gonna,
haven't done the regs yet. The last meeting, you guys.
there's nothing in these regs that specifies just eyebrows or
Yes,
lips only, or
in
is,
the
or is?
regulations, it does.
And the
So
full
first I
packet?
need- If we're done with the apprentice
Oh,
program,
yeah.
I need
Okay.
a motion and a vote.
Do we have a motion to accept the changes to the draft guidelines for apprenticeship?
Motion to approve the drafts as written.
Second.
Or as
Thank you.
changed.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye,
Joanne? Yes.
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 Bill? Erin?
Thank you.
Yes.
Kathy? Yeah. Allison?
Just so you know now, it goes to the law department to be typed, and then we'll put a notice in the paper for the public hearing.
Yes.
There'll be a public hearing, and then the day after the public hearing, then you'll be able to do this. But like you said, you have to have your teacher. And,
We also don't have 1 year yet.
No, you don't have a year, but you'll be ready for August
Right.
or whatever, right?
right.
Yeah.
And then is Letitia also, does she already have her?
She also applied already.
Okay, so
Yes.
she's also
We just
applied.
didn't
Okay.
go through for the training because it's expensive and
Right.
we're not sure, so we
Okay.
didn't want to.
So hopefully the timing will be the
Yeah,
same. Okay,
Perfect. Okay.
sounds good.
What is it that you want to do with the lips?
So we want to do micropigmentation in the lips as much as we do eyebrows. It's a very common procedure to tint the lips in lipstick color. We want to be able to do that. All the other cities are doing that. All the other cities are giving permission for eyeliner, lips, and eyebrows. I'm not even asking for eyeliner because I am very afraid of touching eyes. If somebody else wants to pitch in for that, is okay. I'm not pitching in for that. But everyone now offers lips, eyebrows, eyeliner. It's common price in
And that's
permanent
part of the
makeup.
training program?
It's part. No, that's a different training you take. It's like a specialization. It's like when you take esthetician classes and then you want to specialize in waxing and you go and take an extra waxing class. So to perform that, you have to have classes on that.
So, two things.
Yes.
This is for these guys. 1811, the introduction of saline solution or other liquids or similar liquid substances into the body for the purpose of causing modification of the body is thereby prohibited. Now, we could just say that this is not really, this flushing out of the old is not really causing a modification of the body, but I guess technically it might be, so we might have to put an exception there, except for the removal of prior micropigment and the eyebrows or whatever. Right?
Yeah, that makes sense. It's 18.
So I think we just need to have a little exception in there saying that using the saline or whatever solution to remove the old pigment is not unreasonable.
Yeah.
As opposed to like injecting for getting rid of wrinkles and other reasons that people do stuff.
This says into the body, but it's really not into the body.
Well, it depends on what you call the skin of the body.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to leave it, I just think if we want to be clear, we might want to just say, with the exception of removal of micropigmentation from microblading.
Okay.
And then what page is the issue of the lips versus just the eyebrows on? Because I can't find it.
I have it right here, 1802.
With the exception of,
With the exception of microblading performed to a client's eyebrows, cosmetic tattooing, also known as permanent cosmetics, is hereby prohibited. So that's changed.
Bill, it's with the exception of removal of microblading pigmentation?
Yes.
Also, instead of saying perform a client's eyebrows, you have to say your lips.
So it doesn't exclude lips, it just doesn't include lips. Is that what you're saying?
No, I believe it says under the definition of microblading, it applies only to.
Where's the definition of microblading?
so this is with the
Got it.
exception of removal of microblading pigmentation on the eyebrows.
So we would just add and lips. Your persistence is wearing us all down, so you know, it's okay.
Thank you.
So we would include
What
allow
number are you on now?
1802. So you would just, after eyebrows, you would say and lips.
Thank you, Dr. Galvin.
You haven't got it yet, my friend. You haven't got it yet.
Oh, micropigmentation means things, permanent.
Oh, that's on the other one.
Like I said, I don't personally, I've come around. I don't have a major issue with it.
So you're saying 1802 should say perform to a client's eyebrows or lips?
And or
and or lips.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then 3.47 is where the definition of microblading says, like eyebrows.
3.47?
Yeah.
3.47.
Yeah, so do we have to put anything in there about to the lips? So you could just, at the very beginning, you could just say to create and shape the curvature of a client's eyebrows using hair-like strokes and the whole area and lips or something, and the shape and curvature of
Is it
lips.
called microblading when you do
So
lips, or is it
we-
micropigmentation?
And micropigmentation.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's next page then. Never mind. Oh yeah, so we don't necessarily need to change that unless you want to add lips to skin.
So, I mean, 47, I can add.
I don't think
We don't need to
No, no.
change 47.
It's
It's micropigmentation, 344, 49, or 349.
so the epidermis of the skin or lips and lips.
Answer me for pigmentation in terms of skin. So we only want it to be done for lips, right? We're not doing micropigmentation anywhere else.
No.
Into the epidermis.
So the skin of the lips.
Skin of the lips.
Well, do you do micropigmentation as part of the eyebrows too, right?
It's called
Yes.
microblading there, though. We define that underneath microblading.
No, microblading is when you use a hand tool to scratch and
To make it look
add
like
the
hair.
pigment.
Okay.
Micropigmentation is when you do with the machine, the rotary machine.
So it'd still be
So-
skin, yeah.
Just say a skin of eyebrows or lips.
Or do you want? Should we just say of the eyebrows and lips?
Right.
Because it's not all skin. It's not the areola right now. It's
No.
just the eyebrow. So I would make that just say the epidermis of the eyebrows and skin. Excuse me, and lips.
Eyebrows or lips.
Yeah.
So then do we also have to change number 23.21?
Right?
No.
Isn't this what the legal
No, that's
department is
just-
for? To figure out it's all
No,
consistent.
That's just the definition of what cosmetic tattooing is. It's nothing that,
I'm sorry, which number?
I was looking at 21, 321.
Oh, 321. Sorry, 321.
You're in here, the 3.
There is no 21.
3.21. There's no restrictions in that one. It's just a definition, so we should be.
We're not going to change it then, yeah. All right. Okay. I'll make a motion to make these changes to the regulation governing body art.
Second? Do we have a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Joanne?
Yes.
Yep.
Erin?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
And Allison?
6 months later, congratulations, my friend.
Thank you, thank you. I hope I don't come back here.
Well, you got to come back for the public hearing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You want to come back for that, so.
If somebody else want to do something, they can come as well.
I think it was fine, but you can have it.
Have a good night.
Did you want to talk about the fees?
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we don't necessarily need to do that.
If you're gonna change them, we have to change.
No, I'm just saying, we don't need to have.
Right, we don't need that, right.
I
But
would,
we just accepted everything with the money that as it was.
Right, we can amend it.
we can still amend that. We gave them 10 minutes to talk and now we can
Yeah.
go our own.
Hmm.
Look at me telling you what to do. Sorry.
It's all right. So does anyone think the fees are too high as set? I guess is the question, right?
And the proposed fee changes are $1,000 for the establishment, $400 for the apprentice. Is there any other fee
$500 for the practitioner.
for the body practitioners? Is the $1,000 fee for the entity a annual thing?
Yes, it would be upon renewal.
And what's
Every
the
time they renew their
What's the
license.
current fee?
$250.
But so is it currently?
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a quadrupling.
So I only took the amounts from Chelmsford,
Yeah.
that's what's in Chelmsford's regs, that's how I came,
Higher
I
paying
cut it,
customers.
they do $750 for the practitioners, I cut that down to $500.
What are,
So, but it's
what are the
whatever you
tattoo
guys wanna do.
parlor establishments, what are they paying every year?
For us?
Yeah.
Everybody pays $250 for everything.
So this would all be, everyone would
Everyone.
go up to 1,000.
So
you're
the
saying.
establishments would go, according, if we
Yeah.
leave it as is, the establishments would go up to $1,000 a year. The practitioners for any type of body art, all three of them, the piercers, the artists, the
Yep.
microbladers would go up to 500, and all the apprentices would go up to 400.
I think 1,000 seems a lot.
It seems high.
What do you guys want it to be?
500.
500?
You're doubling your current fee.
Yeah.
Would you, so I guess I choke at that. You could have a single person paying an establishment fee and their own fee.
Right.
Yeah. And
So,
it sounds like they have fees through these other cutting
Right.
services that they have to pay as well.
Right.
So
well,
you-
hey, that's not our problem. We got,
I understand that.
So just so you are aware, I did have a tattoo parlor call me today about the regs. They were concerned about the transfer of ownership upon death of the client. He was fine with the prices.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
the tattoo is,
No, I'm not,
Yeah,
I'm
they're
just
gonna
making
have
you aware
higher
that nobody's complained about it, that they've read.
Yeah.
That's all.
Right, and
we do on-site inspections of the body arts like we do.
Every month, Don goes.
It's not
out
just
to-
tattoos. He'll go to their
He
place.
goes to the piercers and he's been to their places.
Correct.
So every month there
It's the
is,
same. It's the same process for everybody.
yeah. So-
And when the microbladers have 5 people, it won't be a problem because they'll have the establishment and 5 people, but right now it's just 1 and 1. So,
But it'll always prohibit somebody from owning up their own shop, like compared to.
Correct.
renting it.
Yep.
I think 500 is reasonable for the establishment.
Nobody will be charged this fee until the end of the year.
Right.
Everybody's already
I
paid,
just think
unless they're coming in.
quadrupling that fee, I just feel like
Yeah.
that's a lot.
I think doubling it is, and it can be raised next year.
We can always raise it again next year. Sure. So would you do 500 and 500? As right now it's 250, 250. So you just go 500, 500.
I think
So-
individuals should be less.
So how much is the, so we're gonna go from 1,000 to 500 for the establishment. The practitioner, what is it currently?
250.
250.
What do you want to go to? 300? 400?
300.
300?
300?
I don't know,
I do 400. I do the same for the.
and I don't even pay that for my nursing
They don't
license.
I know.
Money, I don't
This
either.
is ridiculous.
Right, I just.
Yeah, the nursing license isn't that much.
$100 or $80.
I pay for my doctor's license if that makes you feel better.
Yeah, but you're also gonna generate a lot more income than these people.
I
Yeah.
understand. I
And I
understand.
generate more, I mean, I don't pay that.
Right.
Not,
What do you want it to be?
50, leave that.
Leave it at 250?
Yeah. And the establishment fee.
That's fair.
So you think about this lady here, she's done so much work to make this happen. She's
I'm not
obviously
even
very
like thinking
dedicated.
about her, I just think that
I just think that
I-
it makes it hard to open a shop.
I
Also attracts business to Lowell. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like if Chelmsford's is 1,700 and ours is 50, like we're gonna attract more. Now that we have this as well, like that's just better for the city.
Try and make small business work,
No.
it's not a lot to attract.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
I'm not. Don't say sorry to me. I'm good with whatever you guys want. 250 is fine with me.
I think 250 is
So what do you want to lower the apprentices down to 250? They pay 250 for their 2-year license.
So they're both 250 now.
Right now, the practitioner pays 250 for an annual license. The apprentices pay 250 for the 2-year license.
I would just make them all the same personally. Just make them all the same. 250 a year, whatever it is for everybody.
So leave the apprentices and the practitioner at 250.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll need a motion to decrease the suggested fee for the body art establishments to 500.
I'm gonna abstain.
Yeah, but it's not decreasing it because we have,
Well, you just approved it, so then we
Okay.
have to decrease it.
I'll make that motion.
okay,
I'll second.
thank you. All those in favor? Aye.
I
Okay, to 500, and the apprentices and the practitioners
Stay.
go down to 250 because we just approved it at the higher rate.
Okay.
And again, we can revisit it,
Yeah,
but
if the law department complains, then whatever.
this is-
Yeah, it seems high to me, but
I'm sorry, who made the
How much?
motion?
How
Kathleen,
much they charge
second.
for microblading? I don't know.
I mean, it's not cheap, it's
Right.
like
So-
$500.
I think they could probably afford this.
But you're
But they're getting started.
a handful of clients,
Right.
you know?
If
It's
you
not
get
hard to get
5 a day, it's $25.
You're not gonna
There's
get five
no
a
way
day.
they're gonna get
Okay.
No.
So I just need,
Listen, I don't know any of this stuff,
Put
it's a all new thing to me, okay? I go to Supercuts, let's be clear, right?
I just need a vote. Joanne,
Yes, sorry,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
yes.
Erin, Kathleen,
Yes.
Allison. Thank you.
Can I,
Okay, the
can
next-
I just do one more thing? So 14.9, section 14.9, we were adding number 11, about alcoholic beverages and food are not, cannot be permitted or consumed on the premises. I just think that's a little bit dramatic.
Well, who, like, that was the legal department that put that in there, wasn't it?
Excuse me?
Who put that in there?
It's
was-
already not allowed, it's just making it clearer.
Well, it was already written, it's already written in the guidelines that it can't be in the workstation. Not being allowed in the premises, I think is just a little bit much. It's written someplace else. Can we strike that, number 11? Somebody, a couple of other places had it written into their regulations, so it was added in, but I just don't think it's needed. Yes. I reread it as I was coming here, and I just thought that was a little bit too much.
Which one are you on, Lisa?
11?
Yeah, it shouldn't be.
It's probably about halfway through the package in number 14.9,
Or 14?
posting
14.19,
requirements,
number 11.
number 11.
It's in red.
Notification that alcohol, non-alcoholic beverages, and food are not permitted to be consumed on the premises, with the exception noted in section 10.2, which is that it can't be in the workstations, regarding the consumption of fluids by the client in medical need.
Yeah, that's excessive, I agree with you.
14.19.
You guys put it in, so don't look at me, but you
Well,
guys,
it was added from somebody else's, so, but then I just reread this and said, dramatic. Well, I think you need food, and, I mean, if you're sitting there all day and that's where you are, you know?
I think alcoholic food.
So it already, the regs also say otherwhere that beverages and food are not allowed into the establishment. This just clarified it also included alcohol.
Right, but but it also says alcohol in another part,
Says
so
non-alcohol.
I don't think this is needed at all,
Because
so.
we already say beverages.
How do
and
they
food.
eat lunch?
Correct, so I just think that we don't need to add that there.
No, but they don't.
They have to eat.
They have
They have to eat
yes.
lunch.
Yes.
They don't have access to a break.
Drinks.
Correct.
Strike.
so what does Supercuts do?
I don't know, they're a hair salon, they're not a body art facility.
Okay, I mean, we're eating.
No, you, Carrie, these
So-
people
so-
can practice in a salon.
It's
Right, but so the
Like
ultimate
Jacob.
point is, you don't want food and alcohol, or food and beverages where the microblade is being performed. So what something needs to be in there is that you do that in the back room,
Right.
not.
So
where you're performing the
workstation,
work.
it shouldn't be allowed at the workstation, but not in the whole facility.
It does say the whole facility, so.
Yeah, but they-
So 10.2 says not in the work area, not in the auditorium.
So for the sake of argument, like, this is, the legal department can work on the, like, we shouldn't be going through line by line details. The board is telling you that they should be permitted to eat and drink on the premises, just not the workstations, and let the legal team figure out where it goes. Like, we could be here all night doing this.
Okay, so strike, so I'll need a motion.
When I've gone with the
No.
health inspector, we talk about what places you can have your microwave, where you can have.
Right.
Right,
It's talked about.
right.
Okay, so strike 14.9,
No, it's
19.
14.1,
14,
No.
14.19.
Yeah,
Number
14.19, number 11, yes.
number 11 says that it's gotta be posted, that doesn't allow, so we're striking.
Strike it, we'll figure out somewhere else if we need it.
So I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'm sorry, was that you, Erin, or Allison?
Allison,
And so Joanne,
yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Erin? Yes. Kathleen? Allison?
And then we just need to add it somewhere. You can do that. That, at the workstation, they shouldn't be allowed food and beverage. Wherever that is that
I'll
10?
have to find it.
Okay. We need to,
So strike 14.911, add,
no food or beverage at the workstation, like at the,
or it must only be in the kitchen area or something?
no, just not at the workstation.
Not every place is gonna have a kitchen.
The next item on the agenda is the Pride Star report.
Move to accept.
Okay. Next item is donation of AEDs.
Move to accept.
Any questions on the AEDs?
That's pretty awesome, yeah. We should recognize that, the generosity and say thank you, yes.
Next item on the agenda is the Cashin's air quality report. Looks good.
And again, I had brought this up at one of the other board meetings. Are they required to do this on this cadence with us? Because it's like every month we're getting this report. Are they required during the construction to do that? Is
Yeah,
that why?
I think they are.
Okay.
The next item is the Pawtucket Memorial Analytic Mold Report, which, Lisa, I don't know if you can interpret. It looks like that's fine.
Yes, and they do give an interpretation with it now, so there is a little bit of an interpretation saying that the school is safe. Yep.
Okay.
It was good.
Next item on the agenda is the wastewater COVID flu RSV.
We made it smaller for you this month so that we could read it.
So no, we don't have those context. So if you look at like influenza A and it drifted up a little bit, like how significant is that?
Not,
I mean,
not significant
I
at
didn't
all,
think so.
right,
I was
yeah.
just like, we just don't know what the ranges
Yeah.
mean, you know, that's all.
Like, we didn't really get the last page was just like this line.
I just assumed there wasn't anything there.
It's the RSV one. I don't know if it's, no, the last page. Oh. We didn't get the RSV one. See, in the bottom it says RSV.
No kids in school? Yeah, this is the SARS, this is influenza B, that's RSV.
Well, where is it?
Right here.
No, that's not RSV. That's the one above it. That's
No, that is RSV. The next page is either
No.
completely missing or whatever, right?
right.
So this first one
It's
isn't
SARS, right?
SARS too, right?
No, the last page starts with RSV. This would go below RSV.
Well, wait a second. So what's this one then?
So the first one here
Is-
is COVID, it's down, so it says it here, COVID at the bottom.
Yeah, I assume this was
That's
just
the
one on
chart
each
above it.
page.
Well, what is this here?
That's COVID.
That's COVID.
Well, no, but if you look at where it says SARS-CoV in the drop-down thing, it looks
Yeah,
like
because
it's,
that's where you change to pick up the other. So
Next
if
one.
you want, when you want to see, right, Lisa, when you click the SARS button here,
Yep,
that's when you switch to the other one.
yep,
So the.
Okay, so
what's
you're
above
saying
it is
that's
what's at the
COVID.
bottom
That
of
last
the page.
page is
Influenza
either
A.
completely missing or it's nothing. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's, I don't know what.
That's the RSV.
no, this
Our-
page here, Carrie.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, that's
Oh.
was in the packet. So I don't know what it is.
did you get a blank page?
It's got a
has
black line on it.
Across the top.
Oh.
It might be like, I don't know, a border or something.
Okay.
I didn't
Any
get that page.
questions on the report? Madam Director, did you have anything you wanted to say about that report?
No, nothing about that report.
The next item on the agenda is the divisional reports.
So Caesar's report is in here, the tobacco report. He did want me to pass on to you that there was a 30-day suspension by the DOR for the Country Farms on Branch Street.
Yep.
I believe they have been before us before. But because this is a 30-day suspension by the DOR, it's my recommendation to bring them before the board next month. So they are going to come before us just to talk to us because this was not a suspension that they do have to come before us. But we are going to have them come before us because they have had a sale of a minor before. If that's okay for the board,
this
and
is-
if that's something that you want.
Unstamped cigarettes.
Correct. This is a new thing that we haven't caught them on.
And is this 7-Eleven on Gorham Street? Is that the same 7-Eleven that keeps the same lady?
No, she's 7-Eleven from Chelmsford Street, I believe.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought the same.
That's what I thought. I thought she was Gorham. I was like,
Yeah. I believe she's 7-Eleven from Chelmsford Street. Yep.
No, I guess you're right.
And I believe he does have a a hearing, another hearing for next month as well. I'm not absolutely positive.
He told me yes.
What else? Stamp cigarettes.
I don't know.
So we do have the public health report. So the CDC, all over the news last week, the CDC dropped the 5-day isolation for COVID, but the Mass Department of Public Health has not dropped the isolation as of yet. They're still mulling it over. They say it's coming any day now. So that was Friday. The Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has not dropped the 5-day isolation as of yet. So we're still waiting for that. Stay tuned. The health department still does have COVID test kits that expire at the end of the month if anybody wants them. And we still are doing flu and COVID shots on Tuesday if anybody wants them. We gave out, I think, 5 and 8 this month. So some people still want them, and it is still recommended to get vaccinated.
Are you, so for the refugee families, are we offering those to them, or is that somebody else doing that? Is Lowell Community doing that?
So there is John Snow is doing a whole assessment this week for the refugee families right now, mostly the children under the age of 18. So all of them are being hooked up with Lowell Community Health, but the school-age children, we've done a great job between the Lowell Community Health and Lowell General's Clinic, getting them caught up with all of their vaccines. As for the adults, we're still a little bit in limbo. A lot of them have gone to Lowell Community Health, especially the women. And then right now, we have, I think we're up to 30 people who have jobs. So especially the people who are getting jobs in places where they need vaccines, we're getting them caught up pretty quickly. And then Mass Hire is doing education for jobs. They're doing survival English classes. There's a lot of things going on over there in the ICC. But we are doing assessments and things to do vaccines over there. But yes, they can't get shots with us if they want them. Yes. You saw in your packet, we have a medication take-back day on April 27th. So we'll start pushing that out. That's along with the DEA National Take-Back Day this year. And then if anybody has any questions.
No, love your spring collection program brochure.
He's doing a great job.
Pounds of needles.
I just had a question on the TB section of
Oh, yes.
the nurse's report.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. So under LTBI,
Yes.
I don't know if this is a Maven thing or what, but how do you have 84 suspects for LTBI? Like LTBI is either, it's a blood test now. You either have LTBI or you don't. I don't know how they would classify someone as a suspect. Can you just ask?
Yeah. So I don't know if they're counting.
I don't know what that means.
If
I've never heard an LTBI classified as a suspect.
So it could be. We can talk offline.
Contacts.
Are they just pending?
But so
Results pending?
So we have a lot of people that we're collecting sputums and doing different things on that are not active cases of TB.
Right.
And we have a lot of people who
but those would be, I think you're talking about suspects for TB.
well,
disease.
we're not necessarily doing blood tests on people right away.
You're not doing LTBI testing
Correct.
on suspects?
Yep.
What's the?
But you're
parentheses?
talking
What does it
about-
mean then? It says TB infection and then in parentheses LTBI.
Yep.
So you're telling me that those columns don't represent people who've had LTBI testing then?
Correct.
They don't. Like, so we don't.
Well, sometimes it's just not. Maven's either not doing it.
Why is it in there?
In-
why are you putting
right.
LTBI in there if you're, which implies that these
Right.
people are all tested if they're not all tested?
Right. I'm not. Well, so why you're asking why it's suspect, right?
No, I'm asking why the LTBI is
No, I'm-
listed in that box.
Joanne is saying it's
Oh.
suspect. It either is or it's not, right?
Well, I think you're talking about,
B waivers.
you're
We're
talking
the
about B
same thing. You
waivers?
see
Right.
the we are both
Right.
looking at LTBI.
Yeah.
and looking at the columns and going, there should not be, it's a yes or no, because it's a blood test.
Right,
So
It
this
should be.
looks like it represents people who
Right.
got that test.
right. But in Maven, they're categorizing it as LTBI.
LTBI suspect?
Yes.
I don't think so.
No?
I would be.
When we pull up the report and we categorize, and we put in, is it suspect? It's printing it out as suspect.
You're not talking about class 3 suspect.
That's how she gets these numbers.
Well, that's what I'm assuming, but
Yeah.
I want to know.
Yeah,
I'm
I
interested
think.
in knowing
I'm pretty
what-
sure that's how
what
she
that
gets these.
means.
But I'll ask her.
Because
ask
you
her,
can
yeah.
be a class 3,
Yeah.
a TB disease suspect and
Yeah.
not have had an LTBI
Right.
test done.
But I'll ask her. I'll ask her how she
How
gets these.
how would you become an LTBI suspect?
Yeah.
I don't know how that would happen.
I'll ask her.
I'm just curious. I never saw
But we always, but don't we always have suspect written there?
suspects
Yeah.
for TB disease, but not suspects for LTBI.
LTBI?
Unless,
So that wasn't there last month?
well, I don't, I
think so.
I didn't know, I didn't notice it, but,
Okay.
so then I thought, well, maybe they're just making all contact suspects for LTBI, but they're not, because they're saying
No, we wouldn't.
15 suspects and 3 contacts.
Right.
First of all, the whole thing doesn't make sense because, whatever. You can
No,
just
because
ask
we
her.
wouldn't-
I don't know what that means.
No, because we wouldn't have that many. Yeah, no,
Like the 2023 people, they still have 84 LTBI suspects. That makes no sense to me.
Hopefully they figure it out.
Where do they
Yeah,
go?
like, how do you
They were all
become an
revoked,
LTBI
whatever that means,
suspect?
right?
You either have LTBI or you don't. I don't know.
Yeah,
You can
okay.
just ask her, and
well, we had some that
she
were.
can call me and say, Joanne, can you stop asking the
Yeah,
TB
but
questions?
I mean, that's a lot pending though for
No, I know, I'm
a
just
certain
trying
day,
to-
but yeah, maybe.
Yeah, okay, we'll figure it out.
Move to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
I'm sorry, did you have anything else to say?
No, I'm good.
Move to adjourn, yeah. Okay.
Motion to adjourn, seconded. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.